Hello student, today I am sharing my third video of the chapter 1 set theory. In the last video I have explained different types of sets, empty sets, finite and infinite sets and equal sets. Today in this video I will be explaining how we can write the subsets, then how we can define the intervals, what is the meaning of power set and universal set. So after watching this video, you will be able to start the exercise 1.3. So what is the meaning of subset here? The definition is set A is said to be subset of set B if every element of A is also an element of B. It means there are two sets A and B. One set A is said to be a subset of set B, second set, if every element of set A, first set, every element of first set is also in set B. Then we say that A is subset of B. So this is the symbol of subset. So in other words, A is subset of B. This is symbol of subset. If whenever A belongs to A, it means A is general element of set A, then A belongs to B. A also belongs to B. Set A is having the general element A. If A belongs to A and that general element also is also contained in set B, then we say A is subset of B. So it is often convenient to use the symbol implies. This symbol is known as implies, which means implies. Using this symbol, we can write the definition of subset as follows. A is subset of B. If A belongs to A, imply that A belongs to B. So whenever we have to define the subset, whenever we have to prove that any set is subset of another set, so we always use this type of statement, that any set A is subset of B if element of first set also lies in set B. So then A is called subset of B. So this is the definition of subset. Then in next statement, A is subset of B if A is an element of A, implies that A is also an element of B. If A is not a subset of B, we write A is not subset of B. This is symbol of not subset, because element of A are not in B, so therefore A is not subset of B. We may note that A to be a subset of B, all that is needed is that every element of A is in B. Suppose set A contains 5 elements, so all those 5 elements should be in B, then only A will be subset of B. If out of 5 only 4 elements are in B, so we cannot say A is subset of B. Each and every element of first set should be in second set, then only we can say first set is subset of second set. It is possible that every element of B may or may not be in A. It is possible that every element of B may or may not be in A. If it so happens that every element of B is also in A, then we shall also have B subset of B, because we have taken two sets A and B. Till now we have taken elements of A and B, but if it is possible that every elements of B are also in A, then we say B subset of A. In this case, A and B are the same sets. Because why they are the same set? Because A subset of B, because all elements of A are in B, and B subset of A, all elements of B are in A. So this symbol is known as two-way implication, if and only if. This is called if and only if, two-way implication. Two-way implication means this is we can say left side or this is right side. If this left side is true, A subset of B and B subset of A, then we can say A and B are equal. And from the right side, if only if A, B are equal, when A is subset of B and B subset of A. So that's why this symbol is known as if and only if या two-way implications, right? So where this symbol is for two ways implication, or it is also known as if and only if statement. In short, we write I double F. So what is the meaning of I double F? That whenever we have two statement, if from the first statement we can prove the second statement, this is called if part, and if from the second statement if you can prove the first statement, that is known as only if part. Clear? So any set is said to be subset of second set, another set, when all element of first set are in second set, then it is known as subset. Any two sets are equal, which is only possible when element of first set are in second set, and when elements of second set are in first set, then we say A and B are equal sets. So this is the definition of subset. Now here, next is, it follows from the above definition that every set A is a subset of itself. This is the by default condition. Every set is subset to itself. That is A is subset of A. Every set is subset to itself. Since the MC set phi, because earlier in the previous video I have already explained what is meaning empty set. Since the empty set phi has no elements, we agree to say that phi is subset of every set. Then phi is subset of every set. It means these are the two by default conditions for any set, that every set A is subset of itself, number one. Number two, phi is subset of every set. This is the second condition. Now we consider some example. Example number one, the set Q of rational numbers is a subset of the set R of real numbers. We write Q subset of R because every rational number are real number also. So Q is subset of R. Second example, if A is the set of all divisors of 56 and B is the set of all prime divisors of 56, then B is subset of A. And we write B subset of A because divisor of 56 are 1, 2. Similarly, we can take other number also, and out of those number we can take the prime divisors. Which are the prime divisors? So B is containing prime divisors and A is containing all divisors. So obviously B is subset of A. Some of the obvious relations among these subsets are that any subset of integer Z, Z is subset of Q, rational number, Q is subset of real number, T is subset of real number, N is subset of T. Clear? So these all are the number system and these are the subset of in this way. Example, write down all the subsets of a set A containing these three elements A, B, C. Now we want to write the subset of this set. So when we write the subset of this set, as we know that phi and set itself A are two by default subset of a set, means phi and set are two subset of this set A. Now we write the other element. So what we do here, phi means null element, no element is there, then we take one element at a time. So we take A, it is a subset of this set A. So whenever we write subset, so again we use this curly bracket. B second element, C third element, then we take two elements at a time, AB, AC and BC. So total number of subsets are, hence all subsets are phi, number one, set A, subset B, subset C, A comma B, A comma C, B comma C and A, B, C. So these all are the possible subsets of set A. Out of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8, these are the 8 subsets of set A. So out of this set, it is known as improper subset. This is called improper subset because it is set itself. And these all are the proper subsets. So improper subset is 1 here and remaining 7 are the proper subset, because in the exercise when you will do the one question, so at a time you have to mention the proper and improper subset, right? So next is cardinal number. So number of elements in a set is known as cardinal number. Number of elements in a set is known as cardinal number, right? So cardinal number, because set A contains these three elements, so cardinal number of this set is 3. So number of elements in a set is known as cardinal number. So for empty set, cardinal number is 0. For this set A, cardinal number is 3 because there are 3 elements. So n of A is 3 here. Now then next topic is intervals of subset R. Let A comma B belongs to R. A and B are two real numbers and A less than B. Then the set of real numbers y such that y is greater than A and less than B is called an open interval and is denoted by A comma B. This is the way to write the open interval. We take this small bracket, then A and B. All the points between A and B belong to the open interval A comma B, but A comma B themselves do not belong to this interval. It means we take all the value between A and B, but we don't take A and B in that interval. For example, value of A is 0, value of B is 5. So we take all the value between 0 and 5 and we don't take 0 and 5 in that interval. So this is the meaning of open interval and we use this type of bracket, small bracket. Next is the interval which contains the endpoints also is known as closed interval, because in this interval we are not taking the endpoints, now we take the endpoints. So this interval is denoted by this type of square bracket. So what is the definition here? A comma B such that x is greater equal A and less equal B. Now see the difference. Here y is greater than A, less than B. Now in closed interval x is greater equal A and less equal B. We can also have intervals close at one end and open at the other. That is A comma B. This is called semi-closed interval because from the beginning it is closed and at the end it is open. This is called semi-closed. So x is greater equal A and less than B. So whenever we have this square bracket, so it means it is closed. So in that condition we include A. And here we have open interval, so we don't take B in that interval. So x is greater equal and less than B is an open interval from A to B, including A but excluding B. So this is known as semi-closed interval. Semi-closed interval. Another is A comma B. In the beginning, because whenever we say interval, so it always start from this left side. So this is open interval, this side is closed interval. So this is called semi-open interval. This is called semi-open interval. So x is greater than A and less equal B is an open interval from A to B, including B but excluding A. So these are the four intervals. First is open interval, that we take all the value between the two endpoints but we don't include endpoints, so it is known as open interval. Second is closed interval, we take all the points between A and B and we also include endpoints, so this is called closed interval. Then we have combination of open and closed interval. The first is semi closed interval. In the beginning it is closed but at the end it is open, so this is called semi closed interval. In the beginning it is open but closed at the end, it is known as semi open interval. So then we have this diagram also. So in this diagram, you can see each and everything very carefully. A and B are the 2 points. So in open interval, you can see we have this type of open circle and we take all the value between A and B and we use this type of brackets for the open interval. So three things are important for any interval. First is how to use the bracket. So for open interval we always use small bracket. How to represent open interval on the number line, so we always use this type of open circle. number 2, and number 3, how to take the operators. So these are the operators. To greater than A and less than B, we always use greater than and less than operator for the open interval. Then second is close interval. So in close interval, we have this dark circle, close circle, number 1. Number 2, we use this square bracket. Number 3, we use this operator great equal and less equal. Right? Third is semi-close interval. So this is the beginning. Semi-close interval, it is closed from this side and open at the other side. So this is called semi-close interval. So this is a way to write the semi-close interval, and the operators are x great equal a and less than b. And the fourth one is semi-open interval, open at the beginning and close at the end. So this is known as semi-open interval. So how to write the interval, how to use the operators, and how to represent intervals on the number line. So these are the 3 things which you have to understand here in this video. Now next is power set. Now in the previous slide I have told you that how we can write the subset. So whenever we have n element in any set, so number of subsets are 2 raised power n. You can note down this formula. Number of subsets are 2 raised power n. Suppose any set contains 3 elements, so number of subsets are 2 raised power 3. That is 8 subsets are there. Out of 8, 1 is improper, which is set itself, and remaining 7 are proper subsets. Now the power set, what is the power set here? Collection of all subsets of a set A is called the power set of A. It means now we have made all the subsets. So collection of all those subsets is known as power set. It is denoted by P of A, and we say P of A power set of A. In P of A, every element is a set, because power set is the collection of subset, right? So whenever we do the collection of all subset, so those collection of subset is the power set, but the element of that power set are the set also. So thus, as in the above, if A is containing 1, 2, then P of A will be containing these many elements, which are the subset of 1, 2. So P of A is 5. Empty set is set subset of every set, so 5 will also will come here. Then we take one element at a time, 1, 2, 1, 2. So since set A contains 2 elements, so number of subsets are 2 raised power 2, that is 4 subsets are there. So collection of those 4 subsets is known as power set, right? So also note that n of P of A, number of element in P of A, that is 4, which is 2 raised power 2, because this I have already explained before the definition, that in any set, if suppose there are m element, then it can be shown that n of P of A is 2 raised power m. Why 2 raised power m here? Because set contains m element, so number of subsets are 2 raised power m. This is the formula for the number of subsets, and power set is the collection of subset. So number of element in power set A, this is n of P of A. So number of element in power set A is 2 raised power m. Now next is, which is the last topic before this exercise 1.3, universal set. What is universal set? A basic set is called a universal set. Basic set is called a universal set. The universal set is usually denoted by this capital U. This is a symbol for the universal set, and all its subsets by the letters A, B, C. For example, for the set of all integers, the universal set can be the set of rational numbers. For example, for the set of all integers, the universal set can be the set of real numbers, or for that matter, for the set R of real numbers. It means because integers are subset of rational number. Integers are subset of real number also. So for integer we can take either the rational number as a universal set or real number as a universal set. Another example, in human population studies, universal set consists of all the people in the world. Universal set consists of all the people in the world. Clear? So universal set, suppose if we say that set A is a collection of alphabets. So universal set for that set A will be collection of all alphabets in English. Clear? So out of those alphabet, we can make the different sets. For example, set A is collection of all consonants. So we have all consonants in set A. B is a collection of all vowels. So we have all vowels in that set. C, we can have another type of set also. So for alphabet, universal set will be the collection of all alphabet, English alphabet. So in this video, after watching this video, see, watch this video 2 times, 3 times, then understand each and every point clearly. Then after that, you can start exercise 1.3.